With downstairs, practicing. Yeah. This is about. Please stand like Canada.
We acknowledge and are honored to be on the land of the Moose Cree people. This territory is covered by Treaty 9 that was made and helped to build this community. We recognize the history of this land and its original stewards, and we commit to learning from them and working towards reconciliation. Nous reconnaissons et sommes honorés d'être sur le territoire du peuple Moose Cree. Ce territoire est couvert par le traité numéro 9 qui a été conclu et a contribué à bâtir cette communauté. Nous reconnaissons l'histoire de cette terre et ses premiers gardiens, et nous nous engageons à apprendre d'eux et à œuvrer en faveur de la réconciliation. Please note that this meeting is being live streamed and content may be subject to copyright protection.
Yeah, motion for the agenda. I'd like to add one motion. Don't mind. We'll call it 4E. Improving safety and connectivity through 2+1 highway development in Northern Ontario.
Moved by Councillor Fortin, seconded by Councillor Dennison, that the agenda be approved as amended.
All in favor? Carried. Any declaration of hearing, just general item 0? Hearing none. We have motions and notice of motions. And the first is a motion that council decline participation in executing an agreement with Service Line Warranties of Canada Inc. to offer a water and sewer warranty program to the residents as recommended by Councillor Breton.
So the motion was moved by Councillor Breton that council decline participation in executing an agreement with Service Line Warranties of Canada Inc. to offer the water and sewer warranty program for residents as recommended by Breton. That's open for discussion, and I second it.
So anybody wants to second it for some time? Now it's open for discussion. We have with us Kevin. To answer the questions, if there's any questions. Here.
A question, Kevin. Is this kind of a policy of that's something you can sell or
It is. It is.
well, quite popular because we had to all organize the purchase. The Accknowledge bridge, all of the river carry, limits of the river, the. Why from that end, and so it's a fraction of the price of a river. So you can have this at a cheaper price at a different broker. So I mean, for the municipality to endorse this, we're not doing anybody any favors. Except that. No, you're doing first line for you. Yeah. That's how the market, they pay them off the brand of the communities to be able to sell and the fall. Instead of where a lot of people don't really.
So you're telling me your extended warranty, so we can actually have stuff be repaired inside the building, not just inside the building?
Yeah, well, there's less than. That we're relying outside over. On your. That's good. We all. Water and big. One package for sewer and one package for water. There's a limit of 5 on water and 8 on sewer. 25 on 10 on.
And your clients are rooms?
Those are really cool. There's a lot of people.
And I'll be honest, Kevin, I wish for this.
Yeah.
It was not for the hoops and doors, it was just to give people options, that's all it was, for me. I'm insured with you, you know that, so I have no issue with that, but it wasn't for us to endorse, it was just to give the community another option. I wasn't aware that that was part of it.
Yeah.
I thought your insurance was mostly inside the home and content, not outside. So this is me, so. When did it change? Because they covered. And you sure ain't or just want to convert you to it's got great. I'm just aware of that and what not us to endorse it, but give people one. That's all. Yeah.
It's very gruesome.
Same thing, so you're saying you can actually be cheaper than this package?
Think of the previous again, they're
I don't know, do you guys have to get in a contractor? Because that's what this package was, from start to finish, they do the whole thing.
well, the insurance company will help you get the contract. You don't have to do all of that, you just that happen. You think the sewer line collapses, probably you'll find out because it's working. So you start you have to like, and then you're they want to local guy and stuff. They want to women, they'll your men. And it'll become full prayer.
Yeah, there's one that I've done it. Copy of the Cambridge Classic. Reviewed it. Like I need to call for a couple of things there comes to full. But that definition can be.
First time you don't have to. But again, you realize that you're using thoughts because possibly a person oh, they're going to have a regard. You don't say the one burner. You don't expect it up to so that's it. It's a story that's very there. It is quite rare. You have thoughts.
Yeah, and it's just, it's for once.
Probably we get a bit more good blocking. More British bombs. Stop.
Sorry, Ken.
Now I'm just wondering what the main concern or feedback for residents or others that led to the recommendation.
So the main reason was because we're creating a precedent. So if we endorse this company, we need to endorse any other company that offers any other service within the municipality. So that was the main concern of creating a precedent that we need to every entity that deserves our residents. Correct. And the secondary reason was that I was aware that other companies was offering the same service.
Are you aware of any claims or complaints from other municipalities with service line warranty of Canada? So there's, okay. AMO still endorses this? Unless we're.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so there's a CDC article about service line warranty. I believe it is in Ottawa that they had it. And there was quite a bit of confusion with the use of the kind of our City of Ottawa logo on the agreement. And the members of the community, so clients they had quite a bit of an issue with the town endorsing it because they figured it's a town program. So I think this maybe goes to Mel's point. This isn't a town program. This is its own private company, and they want the town to endorse it. They won't offer the service unless the town offers or endorses it.
Gotcha. Again, whether we decline to engage with SLWC or not, the concern that was raised in the debate and discussion previously was that we need alternatives to educate residents about their private service line responsibilities without appearing to endorse the specifics. So I would suggest that we consider a communications notice or public education initiative and council declines. I move that
There's already a motion.
there is a motion.
It's a motion for just the floor.
Okay, if I didn't see that.
The motion is to decline.
Yes.
Add a additional item to the recommendation that we implement a communications for public initiative around our residents' private service line response.
And that this is.
And that there is insurance available, whether through their existing provider or other providers.
Maybe important to have notification where people should know what their insurance is. That's
That's a reminder.
yeah, know your package. So, want to read the motion as it's.
Council declined participation and executing an agreement with Service Line Canada and to offer the required line warranty program to residents. And furthermore, that undertake a public education component to provide the residents
Education.
their current
Availability of. It's covered.
And their responsibility, like these are theirs.
and
To me, that was one of the biggest parts of the education around their responsibility. Yeah.
You want to read it?
They did not.
Yeah.
And if you that education can get all that covers.
so you have the one part funding for the executing an agreement with Canada with the addition of public education, individual insurance coverage regarding service lines and the responsibility of the owner's responsibilities.
Okay, we not. Yes, okay, so all of you. Carry. Thanks, thanks for showing up and giving us that information. Let's make those decisions based on good information rather than bad, and thanks for moving. We have B, motion to adopt the asset management plan as presented on October 20.
That the 2025 asset management plan be adopted as presented on October 20th, in accordance to OREG 588-17.
All in favor? Carry. Motion to appoint Councilor Dennis and David Wilkie, Economic Development Officer to Northeastern Community Development Network or NET.
Moved by Councilor Dennis, seconded by Councilor Bonatama, Councilor Montaigne Dennison be appointed to the Northeastern Community Network as a voting member, and that David Wilkie of the Kapuskasing Economic Development Corporation as an EDO be appointed as a staff representative for the remaining term of council.
All in favor? Carried. We have a motion to proclaim the month of November as Women of Youth Prevention Month and November 25th, 25 as a International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. Thanks, Ken, for going for the flag raising.
Moved by Councilor Potvin, seconded by Councilor Dennison, whereas violence against women continues to be a serious social issue that affects individuals, families, and communities across our nation. And whereas the month of November has been designated as Women Abuse Prevention Month to raise awareness, promote education, and encourage collective action to end gender-based violence. And whereas November 25th is recognized internationally as International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, a day to stand in solidarity with survivors and commit to fostering safe and equitable communities for all. Now therefore be it resolved that Council of the Town of Kapuskasing hereby proclaims the month of November 2025 as Women Abuse Prevention Month, and that November 25th, 2025 as the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. And be it further resolved that Council encourages all residents, organizations, and community partners to participate in activities and initiatives that promote awareness, prevention, and support for those affected by violence.
All in favor? Carried. So we'll right into committee of the whole reports and start. Oh, that's right, sorry. And so yes, we do have an additional motion for E, and it's improving safety and connectivity through 2+1 highway development.
I will need a mover and a seconder.
Okay, by Melson, if I can.
Whereas Ontario's economic and social well-being depends on safe, reliable east, west, and north-south transportation corridors, particularly highways 11 and 17, which form the Trans-Canada highway system across the region. And whereas these highways carry significant volumes of and passenger traffic, yet remain largely two-lane corridors that face frequent closures and safety risks due to weather, congestion, and collision exposure. And whereas the 4-lane at Highway 17 and modernization Highway 11 remain long-standing Northern Ontario communities. And whereas the 2+1 highway design of alternating passage lanes separated by continuous median barrier has demonstrated safety outcomes comparable to coal winning and at substantially lower cost, land and environmental impact, and can be scaled or converted to 4 lanes as traffic volumes increase. And whereas the Government of Ontario has announced additional 2+1 pilot projects in Northern Ontario, providing an important opportunity to test and expand this model across the sections of the Trans-Canada network. And whereas modernizing highways 11 and 17 will improve safety, reduce closures, strengthen supply chain reliability for mining, forestry, agriculture, energy, and tourism, and enhance national resilience and emergency response capacity. And whereas a coordinated phase 2+1 build program prioritizing key northern sections with high degree volumes of safety concerns would deliver measurable benefits for communities, Indigenous partners, and the broader Canadian economy. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Town of Kapuskasing formally supports the adoption and phased implementation of a 2+1 highway program on highways 11 and 17 as a nation building initiative, and that the government of Canada be urged to recognize this initiative of interest Building Canada Act, and to partner with Ontario to co-fund and accelerate planning, design, and construction. And that the government of Ontario be encouraged to expand the current pilot to a full corridor-wide program, sequencing projects according to readiness, safety benefit, and economic importance. And that both levels of government ensure early, meaningful, and capacity-supported engagement with affected Indigenous nations, including opportunities for training, contracting, and equity participation. And that the program incorporate consistent corridor-wide safety features, barriers separated 2+1 cross sections, controlled passing frequency, wildlife mitigation, resilience measures, closure reduction, climate adaptation, and clean growth practices, EV charging readiness, recycled aggregates, and low carbon materials. And that copies of this resolution be forwarded to the Prime Minister of Canada, the Premier of Ontario, the Minister of Transportation, Transport Canada, the Minister of Infrastructure Canada, the Ontario Minister of Transportation, Northern MPs and NPPs, the Federation of Ontario Northern Municipalities, the Northwestern Ontario Municipal Association, the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, the Rural Ontario Municipal Association, and neighboring municipalities for.
Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Right, so we're going right into the whole and starting with finance, not the Denison.
Question three, for information tax report that on September 30th, 2025, recommendation for information. The council is providing the property tax report itself, 30th, looking at the numbers and a little bit better than last year. I don't have anything to worry about. No, anything to add?
Okay.
Any questions? Hearing none, on the next item. For information, Treasury Department's monthly report. Anything to add now?
Maybe just one important thing to note is that, so we should be receiving our audited financial statements, the consolidated audit financial statements by the end of November, so we should be presented to council in December. And also here, you notice that there is a template for the budget timeline, so we are aiming to have a budget approved by January 6th right now.
I'm going to make that.
Is the just curious if you've looked at the leasing impact increase where they've capped it, is that starting to see, is there an impact, a significant impact?
In the budget?
Yeah, or are you there yet?
I haven't compiled all the data, but we did receive from the Ontario Municipal Partnership Fund that the funds have been increased quite significantly. So I was going to bring the letter to the next council meetings.
Just be clear again, after the 11% that needs to be.
And that's why I'm asking about the actual fiscal impact. For budgeting purposes. And we need to account for that 1%. And that doesn't even include enhancements beyond the basics. So I guess you have to come up with a estimate of what service enhancements the OPP anticipates implementing in 2026 and beyond.
So at a minimum right now, so I have included the 11% increase in the budget. And if we have any indication prior to the budget approval, we can definitely make certain changes.
it's a follow, just a follow from policing again related to budget, but I can't remember if the last meetings, did we talk about whether FNM or AMO should submit
They are.
resolution for longer term predictability?
They are, and actually, one of the things we're talking about is 11% being. Like, that's a little high, thanks, but it has to be something a lot more. But let's see where that takes us. I think that those discussions are just starting.
Thanks.
All right, planning corporate services company.
Three on the agenda, Mr. Mayor. The first one, to consider expression of interest of acquisition. By Conseil, go there, public or the Ontario recommendation. The council received the correspondence dated October 8, 2025. And Conseil scolaire, public and North. The Ontario CFPN expression interest in acquiring municipally owned land identified during the joint meeting of September 19, 2025, and that council direct the planning committee to initiate the internal circulation and real property checklist review for the subject property in accordance with section 5.1 bylaw number 4419. And that pending the outcome of the review, the planning committee prepare a formal report or recommendation when property should be declared surplus to municipal need. John, you guys something else down here?
Could just kind of go over the CFP, say that for short. They've expressed interest in purchasing property from the municipality for the purpose of a new school. They had identified in conversations, they had a purpose identified that area just north of their existing facility. I forget the name there. They would like to have enough land to support a facility for sports outside, so there's a layout, and then they do the pool for 39 degrees. From there, they submitted the letter. We prepared an aerial image of what they perceived interested in. And we brought this before council for discussion. What we're asking for is for you guys to just provide direction to us. I recognize that I go planning committee. I go planning committee because that's what the bylaw is. Allow the planning staff to engage other departments to see whether or not the disposal of this property is in the best interest of the municipality. There are things that we need to consider, or things that site services. We need to ensure that the water sewer capacity is there, traffic patterns, and so on. So there are some checklists that we'll do internally to the various departments, fire, public works, and other entities that may have some interest in this. And we come back and write a formal the council whether to proceed with this. At the same time, we get fair market value for wildlife. Okay.
Question.
Or this one, this one. Forward to the report. Okay, I'll move on to number 2. For information, amendments to the Development Charges Act 1997 and related building code changes. To inform council of the recent amendment to the Development Charges Act 1997 DCA and related building code changes introduced by the province through Bill 17 to protect Ontario by building faster, smarter 2025. The Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing has issued a letter advising municipalities that are changing intended to streamline development for new housing and construction. The amendment focused on payment timing of development charges and corresponding permit requirements under the building code. John, am I right that we don't have some of this stuff in here?
So this is in regards to the development charges bylaw, the town of Kapuskasing does not have a development charges bylaw, although we have discussed it in the last 12 months. In northeastern Ontario, there's only two municipalities that have development charges, which is the city of Bay and Sudbury. It means it's not even. But basically what this is saying is that developers are able to defer development charge payments until the building department has issued an occupancy. So there, at least they have a return on their investment before they have to. And then we can no longer accrue interest. Deferred development charge.
Any questions? We'll move right to number 3 for information, building planning monthly report. John, I'll let you give that. And everyone have a chance to read them. Questions? Yeah, it's all pretty straightforward.
All right, protected services, management, anything on that?
There was just the outstanding item we did. That's the unfinished business related to emergency response reimbursements for unincorporated Ontario. It's the chief was not here at the last meeting. Just wondering if there's an update on applied for whatever we need to transfer payment Ontario application with the fire marshal's office at this point.
Conseiller, pour répondre à la question, j'ai un courriel d'envoyé au bureau du commissaire afin d'obtenir le processus. Je suis en attente de retour. Après ça, on va pouvoir aller de l'avant avec ce programme-là.
Okay, merci. That's all. Bruce, Ken, do we not have a monthly report? Pardon me? Do we not have a monthly report? All the department heads are supposed to have them.
Le rapport, je vais répondre à la question. The monthly report will be provided at the next meeting ou à la prochaine séance. Il n'y avait pas assez de temps pour comptabiliser toutes les statistiques entre le 31 et aujourd'hui. C'est pour ça. But the monthly report will be available next at the next council meeting for October.
Is that at our last meeting too, you were saying for the inspections, you were gonna get back to us on the inspections? And the
Yeah.
courses too.
To be honest, we discussed that last week, and we're not ready yet to do to complete the full analysis about the compliance rate. So as soon I can gather all the sheet, because the officer worked on the schedule, so it wasn't there when I was there. So, but you will get the result.
Just I know for monthly reports, you won't get them if we have meetings a month, you may not get a monthly report at each meeting. So some departments,
You can get
some departments will shoot the end of the beginning.
And I'm curious on the fire alarms on the inspection. And I was waiting for the numbers were supposed.
Yeah, Councilor Newton, it's in order to provide you this number, it's a lot of work, and I have to do this amount of work. I work on that for the annual report. I'm working on the annual report, like you did get one last year. So as soon I've got the numbers done, that's going to be in the annual report, and also we'll provide it to council. It's 800 report to do analysis. 800 inspection report minimum. Yeah, minimum. So.
All right, get cracking.
All right, Public Works, Council Button.
Three items for me, so number one is the overall water distribution and waste collection. The recommendation is approval to enter into an agreement with the Ontario Clean Water Agency for overall responsible operation.
Nothing really to add. This was circulated to council about a week ago, that we wanted to get into this agreement. It's 1 month for right now. If it goes well, there'd be an opportunity to go to say a second or third month if both parties are willing. This is really to buy us some time to fill this role internally.
Any questions?
So when I say fill it internally, you would either have to get certain operators trained and they'd be willing to take on this responsibility, or we would hire it out from qualified people in the community. Right now, I'm not quite aware of that, so that's why we chose to get into an agreement with Aqua to provide us some more time to review that. But currently, I don't have enough staff who are qualified to take it on and willing to do the work.
Were any former interested?
I'm not sure if I
Some of this not very more start.
Yeah,
like a Ted Zuba.
Yeah. not interested.
Well, like I need somebody full time. So if this is a temporary solution. Ted Zuba would be another temporary solution. Yeah.
You have getting location.
Yeah. So yeah, some people are going to get their training. So on one side of it, say on the collection side of things, too, we do have staff willing to take that on as soon as have the appropriate certifications. More on the water distribution side of things that we're struggling a little bit to get internal staff to take it on.
Take to get that certification.
It is a class 1 certification. So if somebody, say, off the street, you have to get your OIT, which is an operator in training. So you'd have to pass an exam. You would have to do a 1-week course in Southern Ontario, and then you would need a year of experience as an operator. Yeah, to be a class 1 operator. And then you still need to take on the responsibilities as the overall responsible operator.
There's a possibility that this contract extends.
Again, that both parties need to agree on that. I can't just ask them to do it if they're not willing to take that on.
So all this does is to buy you time to grow.
This is to buy me some time. And hopefully it worked out. That both parties are happy with the service. We are legislated to designate an OR. Buys us time while being in conformance. Yeah.
What is there, a month to month, is there any sense of at what point, it doesn't make sense to go month to month anymore based on confirming there is no in-house interest or other options such that a fixed short-term contract might be more cost efficient?
Yeah, so Chantal and I are supposed to sit down with Aqua to look at some different options of servicing for the town of Kapuskasing. Okay.
Questions? Item 2. Request to award the street reconstruction detailed engineering based on tender results. So the recommendation is to award the design phase only to EXP Engineering for the amount of $61,220 plus HST. There is a total of 11 bids received. Is there any question on this note, or would you like to add anything?
I think all the information's there. We've got a lot of interest on this tender, so we're really happy with that. And prices were quite good.
Just curious to see if there's
not some value to using maybe another firm like like instead of EXP, because we've been using EXP for ever pretty well. Just curious if there would be a difference in the design and also the costs.
So that's why we went through this process. I think in years past, we weren't going to tender for a lot of these engineering services. It is sole source to EXP. We wanted to go through this RFP to see what other companies would be interested in providing pricing, what other relevant work that they would have, their familiarity. Like there's 5 or 6 categories where we evaluate that. And after this process, the evaluation phase came that EXP was the best suited for this project, taking costs into account, project team experience, methodology, project schedule. We looked at that, we definitely wanted to consider other options, and not because EXP is providing us bad services, but just to do our due diligence with regards to these projects. Still spending a lot of money on them.
And does we process you showed us we found the best firm to do it, but you don't have the end result of what they would be providing. It would be interesting to see another firm do some work to see if there's any difference in costs and methodology and how they do the project.
I don't disagree with you, but that's why we go through an RFP process. If I was just going to pick another contractor, I could. But yeah, I'm not a private entity, I'm a public entity, so I'm just trying to be as transparent as possible when going through these processes.
All different it's all the same, like sometimes I think it changes. But
Yeah, I think with regards to this, when you look at the price and the prices that we've been paying in the past, this is keeping them accountable. With regards to our finances, we've paid a lot more for designs than we're currently paying for this. So I'm very happy with the interest that it gathered and the prices that came.
Thank you.
So third item. The 2025 European Water Quality Management System Management Review Report. The recommendation is mostly to inform council. Please see attached the annual drinking water quality management system management review report for the period between December 2023 to September 2025. Is there any questions on the report? But add anything?
I think everything's there.
Well, thank you, Councilor Baton. Economic development, community well-being, recreation, conflict with that. And you're on mute.
Thank you, Mayor Floyd. So I also have 3 items. So the first item is a request for optometrist recruitment update. The recommendation to inform council of optometrist recruitment efforts in collaboration with the Health Recruitment and Retention Committee. And so Councillor Forte and David Wilkie from the Economic Development Officer have been working together to try to provide and also with Nicole Hache, try to provide some guidance to the municipality as to gain the services of an optometrist. Are there any questions regarding the do you want to add anything, Dave, or?
It's good having full on work done at their open up the table and vote to make sure that the fourth might be coming to the next student. So yeah, they're trying to just taking time.
So you think it's something we'll be able to add to their?
Yes, absolutely. A lot helping him for sure, but she already asked the date.
Any questions regarding that? No, thank you for the good work. Second item, request for the Economic Development Monthly Report. So the report is as follows. Are there any questions or comments? Would you like to add anything to that, Dave?
Helping between the regular duties of the helping the treasury offices.
Anyone else?
Yeah, one, Andrew, you did, I was just interested to read about the work, Live Thrive campaign in the report.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, how that, campaign will be measured or is being measured for success. Inquiries, relocations, like what's the metrics that are gonna look at?
The project was initially for the next middle, updated staff. So just trying to, how can we bring awareness to, you know, what the mill needs, staffing, hospital needs, staffing. So I haven't yet, going to be going out to each business and see if what their needs are, staffing, is just trying to assist them in pumping. If Walmart's looking for something, stop shop, just help get the word out there as another, I'm just really, I wish I had an answer as to the measure. I can't tell you, I did put healthcare the other day, the problem. Putting it on Facebook page, you can figure.
But there's a mechanism for inquiries to be reported, engagement.
Yeah, I can.
Social media.
Engagement, social media.
Will you be reporting on this in the future? Like how many, be interested to know how many engagements there are? The campaign, just to know, is it effective? It's for raising awareness. That's all. Knowing that it's part two, it would be valuable.
Yep. Like the one that took off of this healthcare. Great awareness of the policy. Are you ready to bring your meeting for ours? For the 41, it's ready to be government system. Coming together. But that alone with itself to me is huge. 10 minutes in the park here is an hour and a half from.
Very good, thank you.
Any other questions? Next item. For Information Recreation Department Monthly Report. Council received the Recreation Department report. Corey, did you want to add anything to that?
Nope, nothing to add, really, anything that's on there is, for the talent improvement, we did define a few days, we said, the paperwork. And hopefully, we can get submitted back and move on in that next session.
And just as a side note, David, sorry, your video that you engineered. I'm getting a lot of feedback on it, like everybody's mentioning. I think the last question was, okay, who's that meant for? You know, and so my indication was it was meant to the people of Kapuskasing because Bill, such. So anyways, a lot of real positive feedback from that, and good on you. And I think this week we applied to
Last Thursday, we got an email from the producers or the agency for HGTV hometown takeover. To submit an application for Kapuskasing to be considered, so Friday morning. Help of Kelly, Tammy, Jessica, and David put an application forward to be considered for the hometown takeover show, I guess, in HGTV. So we're waiting for news on that, so. Councilor Murdoch also asked some good questions to the agency. Is there a financial commitment on our part? So far, no. And we get selected, but anyways, if we do get selected as a candidate or a runner-up or something, we'll definitely keep you informed. And basically, I don't know if you know the series, they do revitalizations of downtowns. So that's what they like to focus on, is to bring back life to downtown and more traffic and bringing people from the highway into your communities.
I took the liberty of watching 2 hours of it. I watched the American version of it. Pretty cool.
Hopefully that'll bring.
James is really happy because I subscribed to the whole thing.
How did you?
It's not just worth anymore. Anyways, and so I credit some of the video that you put up there to that as well. So it's certainly an aspect of Pepsi's.
No other questions? That's all for me. Thank you. All good news.
The storms up there. The first one's just the business in public. Health board of health September 20. There's really no really major announcement. There's still probably and about the HVAC system in the tenant's building. That's the more any question? The second one, again, information that these had budget. Just like training session. The CAO and the treasurer will perfectly from the DSTAT budget and municipal levy training session to gain a better understanding of municipal levy allocations on November 13th in the Tim's workshop.
Yeah, I think that's really important because I think the last time they did that would be 10 years ago. And you did, I don't think so. It really it's really complex how they build the DSAT. So I think it's really important. Certainly people who do our finances are fully aware of. So we asked to have that group to make sure we've got the speed how that's happening. When they say 11% or they say 10%, what does that really mean? It comes back to us too, because Tim just picks up the biggest part of that. So what does it mean at the end? So, you know, hopefully that'll help myself as well.
Maybe it's messaging that we can also use for the budget. Like the messaging to that, how even our yes, our budget is to understand, you know, and that maybe some tools that we can follow, like the messaging.
Yeah, how do yeah. Oh.
Is there any chatter on alternative funding models to the past, or were there, you know, there was billing, there was movements and to alternative billing arrangements? Is there any
So you're talking about
moving from impact assessments to population per capita based funding? This is just purely education based.
purely education. It's just what, you know, what's this a 1% or 2% or how does that result in building back? It's yes.
On how they calculate our costs.
To make it very complicated.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Like similar.
I don't think the intent is to make it complicated. It's to simplify things, where the reverse might be true, I'm not sure.
So there's no changes to allocation.
No,
2026.
no.
Third one, good news. Media release from DSAT. It's like full HR and funding application to launch the Cochrane District Rapid Rehousing project, which long story short, the board got $550,000 in one-time funding to launch a rapid rehousing initiative pilot project in the Cochrane District. Mayor.
So my question on that was that are these funds allocation redistributed within the entire district or is it say?
No, it's available to anybody with these service areas. You know, and it doesn't sound like much, but a lot of money to. Yeah, try something.
We'll start here.
What exactly is that? The rehousing project.
Well, as I said, if you read in on it, Bruce, they needed assistance, you know, for whether it's a month, 2 months, 3 months of finding housing or.
Yeah.
It's not meant, I don't think it's meant to be long.
Get them off the schools.
Yeah.
Very happy to get the budget, like maybe something.
After.
Give it time, give them 3 months to get to the after. Store.
I think the other aspect to this is like access to coordination. So it's not just about like a lot of people who lack housing and maybe other issues or other circumstances that are creating the conditions where housing is not accessible. And so it provides access and awareness of other support services that could help. Again, for long term to maintain housing stability by the short term period.
Coordinated access. Something.
Okay, that's it for you.
All right, thanks, Councilor Buckland. That concludes the poll. Adoption of minutes.
Moved by Councilor DeVess, seconded by Councilor Beleton, that the minutes of the joint committees of the whole and council meeting held October 20th, 2025 be adopted.
Carry, unfinished business. Identification for the MECP compliance policy for potential loads, instant referrals to this dollar.
Except for what the court says.
We have reimbursement program for emergency response into incorporated. That's exactly what Norm's gonna be. So stay tuned next report. You're gonna be busy, Norm. So verbal update. Yeah, you will be. Hey, be all you. Verbal update regarding February non-dump health Friday, October 31st. Well, we went to the mill funding that that's a provider, and it was previously provided. So it was pretty much aware of that, I believe. And animal policy update, speed camera litigation legislation, sorry, and first time buyers HST relief. And AMO was homeless research update and G Evans. And we have municipal delegation requests are now open for 2026 Roma for the Roma conference in January.
January
Yeah, January. Moses.
18th.
Yeah. And then we have Ontario Municipal Transportation Notice of Online Public Information Center for preliminary design and class environment assessment study for development of new rest center on Highway 11. City of Wabzata and Cap Spacing. So let's go Saturday. Rest service areas or anything there, but I'll let you know any different.
They started environmental assistance. Last 2 weeks.
Any idea where?
Yeah, because from the landing to this office. And frontage and
For the Pueblo area? Floodplain. Yeah, the floodplain. The floodplain.
yeah, they're years, but
Boulder Drive.
they're aware that they have to significantly, the grade and have drainage system around that property to ensure.
But they was there before, not to that extent, because there was a whole lot.
Yeah.
All right, so that's where that's at. So that's it for correspondence. Committee of the whole recommendations nil. Staff report. Request to consider internet telephone voting as voting method for 2026 municipal and school board elections.
So I'm just wondering if you can put it electronic. Person voting or will in-person voting still be?
So what we're proposing to do, we're gonna work it, we'll work it, this way. We're still gonna have to have, like, typically when you have internet voting or telephone voting, your voting period opens for 10 days. Okay, you can go vote anywhere or anywhere outside of Canada by internet and by telephone. But what we will add here are voting kiosks, where you can come here in person during that 10-day period with the assistance, don't have internet, never help every day person. Some people want to get person on election day, so we will function the same way as in person, except that instead of voting on a ballot.
Okay, and will this alleviate some packages or people who are proxy voting? Will that facilitate the process of this? You don't need proxy voting
For internet, because
Okay.
it's accessible 24/7.
Okay,
Right? So
that will
eliminates proxies. If there were to be proxy, they would have to come in person and do it here.
okay.
Yeah.
And then would it have an effect on the people who have property here but are residing in other parts of the province or in other countries? Will that permit them to vote online from elsewhere?
Yeah, so as long as you people own property, whether they live here or don't live here, as long as they're eligible, to vote, you will get a voter information letter with your PIN number. And as there is a two-factor security system in place, that you need your PIN number and also additional information to validate your ID.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yep, ma'am. Who is the voting aid?
A Canadian company based out of Montreal. And the other company that we looked at and verified with other municipalities what they use, they are American-based companies. So this was the only Canadian-based company that we found. And they also limit to 50 municipalities that they service per election, make sure that their needs are met, security, cybersecurity and support are met. So they really limit the amount of municipalities. And in the proposal, you see the list of municipalities that they serve.
The tender or was this the targeted?
The targeted that offer and voting, and it was through expression of interest. And most of them, they won't take you during you. But I mean, they limit the amount of clients that they take. You have to do that 2 years in advance.
Does this company service other municipalities? How many, like what's this?
50 total. And
So they've got
in the scope of race bridging.
that's not.
The in West Ontario, so after we pay for them. But they visit you're up in the area. Oh, I did not, but I didn't attach it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Okay, I can circulate that, I'll circulate that. Because we won't vote on this until the next. My bylaw, but I can. Credential.
And that's gonna be company you guys go Canada that does it.
Based,
But
yeah, Canada, but we're in Europe.
Any other questions? All right, so you'll provide the.
I'll circulate the proposal, that you know. I'm sorry.
Okay. General new business, bylaws.
Moved by Councillor Papay, seconded by Councillor Dennison, that bylaw 4663, bylaw 4664, being bylaws to authorize entering into return for service agreements pertaining to healthcare recruitment and retention, family medicine, be enacted and passed, that the corporate seal be affixed thereto, and that the bylaws be signed by the mayor and clerk.
Carry. Motion to adopt bylaw 4665.
Moved by Councillor Newton, seconded by Councillor Leonard, that bylaw 4665 being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw 4198 to rezone the subject lands from first density residential zone R1 to first density residential zone exception 4R1-4 to permit a detached garage with reduced front and side yard setbacks be enacted and passed, that the corporate seal be affixed thereto, and that the bylaw be signed.
Carry. C, to adopt bylaws 4666.
Moved by Councillor Balatone, seconded by Councillor Newton, that bylaw 4666 being a bylaw to authorize entry service agreement pertaining to overall responsibility operator or our old service of the the water distribution and wastewater collection be enacted and passed, that the corporate seal be affixed thereto, and that the bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk.
Carry. Motion to approve discussion, so we'll go motion to the bylaw number 4667.
Moved by Councillor Fontaine, seconded by Councillor Dennison, that bylaw 4667 being bylaw from the proceedings of the council be enacted and passed, that the corporate seal be affixed thereto, and that the bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk.
Carry.
Moved by Councillor Munna, seconded by Councillor DeBlanc, this meeting at 7:06 p.m.
All in favor? Carry. Yes, yeah. It's a long one, Scott. Oh, yeah.